If you're into true horror and the kind of suspense that keeps you up at night, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more creepy content every week. Now turn off the lights and let's begin. I'd always been a curious person when it came to the darker side of the internet. It wasn't that I was looking for trouble, but something about the anonymity of the dark web intrigued me. I'd heard the rumors, the creepy stories of people disappearing, the disturbing things one might find, but I had to see it for myself. It was late one night when I decided to venture deeper into the abyss. I had spent hours browsing through forums and links, looking for something that would really test my limits. After a while, I stumbled upon a link that seemed innocuous enough. It was titled VIP Room, access by invitation only. I clicked the link. At first, it was like any other dark web page, fuzzy text, strange images, and links that didn't make sense. But then I saw something that caught my attention. A small text box asking for a password. Password, I thought. What could it hurt? I typed in random characters, just to see what would happen. To my surprise, the box didn't reject the input. Instead, the page flashed for a moment, and then a new window popped up. The message was short but direct. Welcome, new member. I wasn't sure what I had gotten myself into, but curiosity got the best of me. The page began to load, and before I knew it, I was staring at a live chat room. The screen was full of usernames, all anonymous, with strange symbols and random numbers after their names. Some of them were in a language I couldn't recognize, while others seemed to be speaking in code. There were a few messages already waiting for me. Newcomer, you've made the right choice. My heart began to race. This was something different. I couldn't tell whether this was some kind of sick joke or if it was real. But then, the messages started getting darker. We know who you are. Don't leave. You'll regret it. I felt a cold sweat form on the back of my neck. I hesitated. Maybe I had gone too far. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, wondering if I should just shut it all down and forget about it. But the words kept pulling me back in. I typed, unsure of what I was doing. Who are you? The response was immediate. We are everywhere. We are watching you. I felt my stomach twist. Something about that last message felt wrong. I couldn't explain it. The messages weren't just text anymore. They felt like they were seeping into my mind, like I was being drawn into something far darker than I could understand. I glanced at the clock on my computer. It was almost 3 a.m. That was when I saw it. In the chat room, one of the users' names flickered. It went from a random string of numbers to my name. Just my first name, typed in plain text. My name. My blood ran cold. I hadn't typed it in. I hadn't given any personal information. How did they know my name? I quickly closed the window, my heart pounding, but the page didn't shut. It froze, and my cursor just hovered over the screen, as though something was holding me there. Then, an image appeared on the screen. It was a photo of me, taken in my own living room. It was grainy and low quality, but it was unmistakable. The furniture, the wall behind me, even the picture frame on the shelf. My stomach dropped as I recognized the scene. It was a picture of me, taken just moments earlier, when I had been sitting in my chair, staring at the screen. I felt the air leave my lungs. The sound of my own heartbeat was deafening. Before I could even react, the chat room updated again. This time, a new message popped up. We know where you are. You can't escape. I didn't know what to do. I tried to close the page again, but it wouldn't let me. My computer screen flickered, and then a new window opened. It was a live video feed. I froze. The camera was on the outside of my house. My heart nearly stopped. The footage showed the front door, the driveway, and a shadow moving in the corner of the frame. The camera zoomed in, and I saw the figure standing there. The person was dressed in black, their face hidden in the shadows. They were just standing there, staring directly at the camera, unmoving. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. My throat felt tight, like something was pressing against it. I knew I wasn't imagining this. Whoever was on the other side of the screen, they were right outside my door. The next message appeared on the screen, as if it were taunting me. You should have never opened the door. My fingers were shaking as I scrambled to turn off my computer. I unplugged the machine, yanked out the power cord, and threw the monitor aside. My breath came in ragged gasps as I stared at the blank screen, feeling the silence around me. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my living room, a kitchen knife clenched in my hand, staring at the front door. Every sound made me jump. Every creak of the floorboards, every car that passed, made me wonder if they were outside. But as the hours dragged on, nothing happened. The house remained silent. I don't know how long I stayed awake, but eventually, the first rays of sunlight began to filter in through the windows. I thought I was safe. I thought it was over. Maybe it had just been a prank, some sick joke on the dark web. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. The next morning, I went outside to check my front door. There were no signs of anyone being there. No footprints. No strange markings. Nothing. The air was still, like nothing had happened. I breathed a little easier, but the unease didn't go away. Later that afternoon, I logged into my email, hoping to distract myself. When I checked my inbox, I found a new message. It was from an unknown address. "You should have stayed away. The door is always open." I clicked on the link in the email, and to my horror, it led to a live stream. It was the same video feed from earlier. Except this time, it was inside my house. The camera panned slowly across the room, stopping at the place where I had been sitting only hours before. The figure had moved inside. The message flashed across the screen again. "We are everywhere. You can't escape us." I wish I could tell you that it ended there, that I went on with my life, free from the haunting grip of the dark web. But it didn't. Every day, the messages continue. The videos, the strange emails. The figure is still out there watching. And every time I close my eyes, I can feel it getting closer. I've never been the type to believe in the supernatural. I was always more of a show-me-the-proof kind of person. Ghost stories, haunted houses, just myths, I thought. That is, until the night I moved into my new apartment. The place wasn't much to look at, just a small, one-bedroom unit on the third floor of an old building. The rent was cheap, which was a relief, and it seemed like a good fit for a quiet, solitary existence. The walls were thin, and the air smelled a bit stale, but that didn't bother me much. I spent the first few days unpacking, adjusting to the new place. It wasn't home, but it was close enough. The strange things didn't start happening until I set up the bathroom mirror. It was an old mirror, framed in tarnished gold, nothing fancy, but it had a certain charm to it. I had found it at a second-hand store and thought it would go perfectly above the bathroom sink. It wasn't until the second night that I began to notice something odd about it. I was brushing my teeth, preparing to head to bed, when I glanced into the mirror and froze. For just a split second, I thought I saw someone standing behind me. I turned around quickly, but there was nothing. Just the bathroom door swinging gently from a draft. I shook my head, laughing at myself. "Get a grip," I muttered under my breath. Maybe it was the light, or just my mind playing tricks on me. I didn't think much of it, and went about my night. The following day, it happened again. I was washing my hands when I caught a glimpse of something moving behind me in the mirror. I spun around, but once again there was no one there. This time, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The sensation of being watched, of something lurking just out of sight, was overwhelming. I turned off the light and left the bathroom, trying to distract myself with other tasks, but the unease lingered. That night, I was determined to get a good night's sleep. I turned off the lights, pulled the covers over me, and closed my eyes. But I couldn't sleep. Every time I tried to drift off, I felt that same presence again. The feeling of being watched. It wasn't just in the bathroom anymore. It was in the room, the hallway. I kept hearing strange noises, scratching sounds, tapping on the walls. And the mirror. Every time I looked at it, I could feel something in the reflection waiting. I couldn't take it anymore. I decided to remove the mirror and leave it outside, hoping the strange feeling would go away. It was the only thing I could think of. The next morning, I carried it down to the garbage chute and threw it out. I told myself that would be the end of it, but it wasn't. The next evening, after a long day of work, I came home to find the mirror back in place. It was hanging on the bathroom wall as if nothing had changed. I froze. My heart raced as I stood there, staring at it. There was no way I could have brought it back in. I hadn't even been near the bathroom since I had thrown it away. Yet, there it was, as if it had never left. In the mirror, I saw myself standing in the same spot. But there was something off. My reflection didn't move in sync with me. It was subtle at first, just a slight delay, but it was enough to make my blood run cold. I reached for the doorframe, and in the reflection, I saw my own hand moving slowly, almost as if it were hesitant to touch the surface. Then my reflection did something that I didn't. It smiled. I backed away from the mirror, my heart thundering in my chest. I stumbled backward into the living room, unsure what to do. I checked the locks on the windows, the front door, anything to make sure I wasn't being followed or watched. But there was nothing. It was just me in the apartment. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing soft scratching noises from the bathroom, followed by a faint whispering. I didn't dare go near the mirror, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me from the other side. The next morning, I decided I had to get rid of the mirror once and for all. I took it outside, this time to a nearby park. I left it behind a thick row of bushes and walked away quickly, hoping I'd never see it again. That night, I didn't sleep well. The whispers had followed me, drifting in and out of my mind, and I kept hearing the scratching sounds, louder this time, coming from the walls. It was almost as if the apartment itself was alive, crawling beneath the floorboards, tapping against the pipes. But just as I started to nod off, the phone rang. I didn't recognize the number. Hesitant, I picked up the receiver. "Hello," I said, my voice shaky. The voice on the other end was soft, almost too quiet to hear. "You shouldn't have thrown it away." I froze. The voice continued. "It's not done with you." The line went dead. I didn't wait for anything else. I grabbed my things, ran out the door, and didn't stop until I reached the street. I didn't even know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't be there anymore. I moved out of that apartment the next day. I couldn't bring myself to go back inside, not even to grab my things. I left it all behind, furniture, clothes, everything. I couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed me, that whatever was in that mirror wasn't done yet. I tried to find another place, tried to forget the nightmare that had started with just a simple piece of furniture. But it's been months, and the dreams haven't stopped. I still see it sometimes, in the reflection of windows, in glass surfaces. My own reflection smiles back at me, but it's never my smile. I see it in mirrors in public bathrooms, in store windows, everywhere. I know it's waiting for me. I know it's just a matter of time before it finds me again. So, if you ever move into an old apartment with a mirror you don't remember buying, be careful. You never know what might be watching you from the other side.